here at 93.5, 1590 WAKR. And it's time to go to film school. Dr. Joe Fortunato joining us Friday mornings on our Fun Friday. Film study professor, Dr. Joe, and we're going to go back in time here to the early 90s and really look at what I think is kind of a sleeper movie that a lot of people forget about. It's a Ron Howard movie, but it is just terrific, and I'm going to let Joe take it from there. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Ray. Good morning, everyone. And yeah, we are looking at, you actually categorized it very well, Ray. I was thinking about this, and, lately I've been talking about forgotten movies. And I think sleeper is a good term to use for this film because it's not one of the first films you think of when you think of some of the great Ron Howard movies, but it's a great film when he was really hitting his stride in the early 90s. And I'm talking about Backdraft from 1991, which was released in May of 1991. So we're celebrating its 35th anniversary this year. Directed, as I mentioned, by Ron Howard, written by Gregory Whiten. A big cast of stars: Kurt Russell, William Baldwin, Robert De Niro, Donald Sutherland, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Scott Glenn, Rebecca De Mornay. That's a pretty good cast right there.
Yeah.
And of course, it's a drama about firefighters. It had 3 Oscar nominations, mostly for effects, sound effects, visual effects, and sound mixing. It did pretty well at the box office. Wasn't, a huge blockbuster, but definitely a moneymaker and definitely one of the more popular films of the year. And as of 2023, just a couple years ago, this was the most successful movie about firefighters ever, if you're categorizing those kinds of things, grossing over 150 million worldwide. The screenwriter, Gregory Whiten, was a firefighter for a number of years, and the film was based on the death of a friend in an actual backdraft. So even though it's not a true story per se, it is based on actual experiences. And the producers say that they've met a lot of people that became firefighters specifically because of this film. So it's an influential movie as well as an entertaining one. As I mentioned, a great cast. A lot of the cast did their own stunts. Kurt Russell, Kevin Casey, Scott Glenn, William Baldwin, they all did their own stunts. In fact, the stunt coordinator was so impressed with their performances that he listed them as stunt performers in the credits, which is pretty unusual, actually. William Baldwin and Kurt Russell, they went to firefighter boot camp to learn the ropes of what firefighters go through in their training and in their experience. They even slept in a Chicago firehouse for a month. And to draw audiences into the intensity of a real fire, a cameraman was outfitted in a fireproof suit and wandered through the flames with a handheld camera. So it's a very, in the moment, you are there kind of a feeling with some of the special effects and some pretty brave camera work.
With us is Dr. Joe Fortunato. We're at film school today, going back to the early 90s flick Backdraft. And it does not surprise me, Joe, when you mention that this inspired a lot of people getting into the world of being a firefighter, because it's a real positive camaraderie, working together type of movie when you watch Baldwin and Russell and that crew working together. It's very inspirational.
It very much is. And it also had other real life ramifications as well. Ron Howard donated some of the proceeds from the film to his local fire department, and he also represented a fireman on Capitol Hill, represented firemen in general on Capitol Hill to lobby for more money for their training. And William Baldwin says that to this day, fire trucks will honk their horns whenever they see him, which has got to be a pretty good feeling as well. Alec Baldwin, talking about casting here, Alec Baldwin was considered to play a role, but he turned it down and recommended his brother instead, and that's how William Baldwin got the role. Kurt Russell heard about the film from Tom Cruise when they were trying to cast Kurt Russell in Days of Thunder. He didn't do that film. He ended up doing Backdraft. And a number of other people auditioned or were considered for roles: Robert Downey Jr., Keanu Reeves, I already mentioned Tom Cruise, Johnny Depp, young Val Kilmer, all turned down some roles in the film. There's a couple of Easter eggs in the film, so, a lot of times people listen to us here, and then they go watch the film. One of the engines outside of the high-rise fire is Engine 51, which is a nod to the television show Emergency, which was also produced by the same company, Universal Studios. And you might remember, if you're old enough like I am, to Rampart 51 and the call for emergency. And another sort of Easter egg to look for is when you see the McCaffrey family boat, The name on the boat is Go-Go, which is the family nickname for Kurt Russell. So that's what his family, Go-Go Russell. And they put it on the boat there as well. In the tradition of Ron Howard movies, he cast his family in it, specifically his brother Clint Howard, who plays Rico the pathologist. So another Easter egg to look for, or maybe even a cameo tradition is maybe more accurate.
Backdraft, 1991. It's a terrific flick. And you know what? Again, I say this almost every week. It's a movie I haven't seen in a while, but I love this movie. And I think this weekend I'm going to try to catch up and watch it again. Ron Howard's Backdraft, terrific flick. Dr. Joe Fortunato with us this morning. Joe, what have you got going over at the website? You going to be out and about anytime soon?
Well, as the summer months start ramping up, we are going to have a few things to announce. So that's all coming up. I encourage everyone to go to my website, joefortunato.net, to check out what are the goings on. Go to the events page on joefortunato.net and see what's coming up. Not a lot right now, but there's still always older content you can go and listen to. And as I said, we're going to have a number of things coming up as the summer months kind of approach very quickly.
All right, Joe. Great stuff this morning with Backdraft. Love the movie. Well done. We'll do it again next week, Joe. Thanks for making time.
I look forward to it. See you then.
All right. Dr. Joe Fortunato with us with Film School here on the morning show, 93.5, 1590 WAKR.